Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's DLloyd, man. Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed some great college basketball here in the March Madness tournament. You could tell by my shirt if it could pick it up. I did not have the greatest of weekends, let's say. Seeing my Kentucky Wildcats get bounced in the first round definitely hurt a lot. But today, we are here to talk about another team that is also struggling. Fortunately for them, it's not playoff time yet, but they are still struggling, and that is the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, they are 1-8 since the All-Star break against teams with a winning record in the NBA. That is not good. That is not good, really, to say the least. We also know that Russell Westbrook has been out for about a month, right, with the fractured hand. It looks like he should come back this week, maybe even tonight at earliest, but he should return this week, and that will be a huge benefit for the LA Clippers. Now, when you take a look at what has been happening with the Clippers, it's been very up and down this entire season. When they first made the trade for James Harden, things looked awful. Then it looked like it was steadying itself out. And then really, December, January, we seen the Clippers look like a team that could compete for a championship. And when you look at the roster, that's exactly what this team should be doing, because they are essentially, whether people want to say it or not, they are in championship or bust territory in terms of how that roster is set up, how they are currently set up financially with the salaries and being the second apron team. They cannot afford to keep just putting out their teams that get eliminated in the first or second round of the playoffs. They are going to want to, at least at the very minimum, right, make it to the Western Conference Finals. If not, try to win a championship. Because when you look at the roster, you look at Paul George, who, remember, he has a player option at the end of this year, but it looks like he may decline that, test free agency. We're hearing teams like the Philadelphia 76ers, who we just made a video about last week, being extremely interested in a player like Paul George. And Paul George in general is going to command a ton of attention, and some team is going to be willing to give him max type money. What team it is, we will see. If it's not the Clippers, but clearly the Clippers have not either the Clippers have not made that max deal, or Paul George may not be 100% interested in returning to LA without exploring other options. And the reason why is because they have an opportunity to extend him. He could have signed an extension, and he did not sign that extension. So we will see what happens there. You also have to look at James Harden, who is a free agent as well at the end of the year. What do you do there? You would assume that James Harden will want to come back, and the Clippers would be interested in bringing James Harden back. So that is something that they do have in terms of, I think there is a mutual benefit for both parties there. That is great for the Clippers. But really, the Clippers are going to want to try to win, because if they are a second apron team again, one more year away from having all their first round picks frozen for the next 7 years, not being able to use the buyout market, which they can't do next season anyway, especially their second apron team. So a lot of the restrictions are there. You become a second apron team for 3 out of 5 years. Any first round pick that you do have automatically goes to the back of the first round. So say you came and you ended with the 10th overall pick, you now pick 30th. So really, when you look at it for the Clippers, they're running out of time. With this core lineup of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, the two duos, the two players they brought in to win a championship, they need to make it work. Now, of course, Kawhi Leonard, he's set up. He is set up. He's signed the long-term extension. He is not going anywhere. But when you look at the Clippers now, I'm looking at the standings right there, sitting at 4. They are clearly behind Minnesota, about 5 games behind Minnesota. That is something that realistically you don't see them catching up on. So they're 4, only a half game up on the New Orleans Pelicans. A nice little comfortable lead on Phoenix, but they could potentially lose it. I don't see that happening. So realistically, you're looking at the Clippers finishing with a 4, maybe even a 5 seed, probably being more realistic the way they are playing right now. You're looking more so at a 5 seed. So you will play the Pelicans almost essentially regardless in that first round. Pelicans playing good basketball right now. Not so much for the Clippers. Not so much for the Clippers. They're going to try to figure stuff out. But what is going on? I think losing a player like Russell Westbrook has definitely hurt them. He has hurt the depth and having that energy, that leader on the court or on the sidelines for you, not having that when we know historically the Clippers could be less than motivated. I guess that's the best way to say it. Not as motivated as the average team, if that makes sense. We have seen spurts of that from the Clippers, but when they are motivated, when they are rolling, the Clippers are still, even to this point, in my opinion, a top 3 or 4 team in that Western Conference with a real shot at making it to the conference championship and then a conference finals and then maybe even the championship game. Still don't know if they're better than Denver, in my opinion. OKC, I can see the Clippers beating OKC in a series if the Clippers are healthy and are playing at levels that we have seen. And definitely, I think they could beat a Minnesota team. So they are still a top team. They need to get things figured out because teams that rely on just flipping the switch, yes, we have seen it in the past, but teams that just rely on flipping that switch typically get disappointed, right? You have to build those fundamentals. You have to build those characteristics and all that stuff leading into the playoffs, which is about right now. This is where the switch needs to be flipped right now. Few games left, get momentum going into the playoffs, get that confidence going, and then you have a real shot. Hopefully that is what happens when they get Russell Westbrook back. I think he is a key piece. I don't see them going that far without him. He is really the heart and soul of that team, even though he is the sixth man. They got to get him back healthy. He needs to come back, and Russ is going to play with that energy. He will provide that bench with energy, motivation, all that stuff, man, every single night. They need him back. But really, this is championship or bust, in my opinion, for the Clippers. And people don't want to put that tag on them for whatever reason, maybe because it is the Clippers, and historically they don't win championships or haven't won a championship. But this is time that they need to take care of business, because after this season, although there is a chance that Paul George comes back, that James Harden comes back, you start to see, the end of the road for this group of players. And how much longer can he keep saying, maybe next year we will go get them? So that's my thoughts on the Clippers. I think they have the talent. I do think they can fix things. I think the major part is Russell Westbrook not being in these games and the lack of motivation, not being as into it, like I said, as an average team. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. Why are the Clippers struggling? Will they be able to overcome and turn things around come playoff time? Let me know you guys' thoughts and opinions. And as usual, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please do me a favor. Go ahead and leave this video a like. It helps me out a lot. And subscribe if you haven't already. It's DLloyd. I'm seeing you next time. Peace.